Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Distribution Strategy Group Best Practice Study called the 2024 State of AI in Distribution. I'm Ian Heller. I'll be your color commentator today, but the play-by-play is delivered by a true genius, my business partner, Jonathan Bine, whose PhD happens to be in computer science in AI. Jonathan, my friend, did you carb load? Have you stretched? Are you fully hydrated and ready for today's event?
I'm ready for today's event, and it's a beautiful day for an event. Let's do two. That was Ernie Banks' line, right? You ask him, like, he say, "Hey, it's a beautiful day for a ball game. Let's play two." So I think let's do two events today.
Okay, that's great. We can run this back to back. We'll talk about it during the show. We'll
Nice.
chat. Good. Well, hey everyone, welcome to the show. We're really excited to have you here. It's going to be great. We do have four sponsors. We're delighted to have their support, and I hope that you will, by all means, go and see what they have to offer for distributors, because they've earned it with their support. And by supporting programs like this, it shows that they're progressive, they understand distribution, and they want to do well. They want to do right by distributors. So let's start with see. Oh, wait. Oh, you know what? First, please take your phone out, take a shot of this QR code, and join us at the 2024 event, Applied AI for Distributors. It's in Chicago. It's going to be a fantastic event. We did one last year. You can go to appliedaifordistributors.com to get more information. We've got testimonials out there, including another one that's going out by email today. It's a fantastic event. Please join us there, or reach out to me for more information. Sandy, sorry about that. I got you started, then I stopped you, but welcome to one more of our events. We really appreciate your support. Why don't you take it away?
Sounds good. Thanks, Ian. Hey, we're going to be at that conference in June. Hope you're able to join us. Epicor is here for the hardworking businesses that make, move, and sell. And when it comes to the move part, we've been in the distribution industry for over 50 years. We know your world, we get your challenges, and we can help you solve them. In fact, when we ask new customers why they chose Epicor in the first place, the thing we hear most often is that we get them, and our software is the best fit for what they do right out of the box. Next one. Today, I'm excited to see the results of DSG's research on how distribution companies are leveraging AI. It's a big topic. We hear a lot about it these days. And at Epicor, of course, AI is on our radar. It has been for years. We think it's going to be a fundamental tool that you use in the future to reach your goals. We've got a number of exciting initiatives right now, and they're specifically around how to use AI to make better, faster decisions that solve tough problems. Next one. We know you're not interested in just doing science projects for the pure joy of science projects. You want AI, or any tech tool for that matter, that gets the job done and it adds value to your business in some way. Epicor believes that a people-centric approach to AI is going to allow you to focus on creating value for employees, for your suppliers, and for your customers. If you're looking for new technology, we'd love to talk, and we'll share the applied AI opportunities that we can offer to distributors. With that, I'll turn it back to Ian.
Thank you, Sandy. And you were kind enough to set up a call with one of your AI thought leaders for me last week. Was it yesterday? Last week? Anyway, I learned a ton. So we're certainly turning to Epicor for our own expertise. So thank you very much for supporting the event again. Okay, great. Let's go on to Jonathan Meyer. Jonathan, you're with Hawk Search by Bridgeline. The floor is yours, my friend.
Yes, so hello, I am Jonathan Meyer, a Senior Solutions Engineer for the Hawk Search by Bridgeline team. Next slide, please. We've been in the business of helping distributors transform their on-site search with recommendation strategies, measurement conversion tools, powerful merchandising capabilities. But today I do want to highlight some of our newest developments we've made to the product using AI. Next slide, please. Our focus on AI begins with the keyword search, where we leverage your complex product data to deliver fast, accurate results. These results are then improved with machine learning algorithms and AI, driving a fully personalized search experience based on individual customer interactions. Next slide, please. As a complement to our keyword search, our new concept search gives customers the ability to ask questions of your product catalog and receive accurate, informed answers. What do I need to repair this equipment? I'm looking for replacement parts for model 123, are common examples of the kinds of results concept searching with Hawk Search can easily handle. Next slide, please. Or maybe your customers have a photo of what they're searching for. With our new image search, we are leveraging the power of AI to analyze your customers' uploaded images and match that against the images in your own product catalog. Next slide, please. There is so much more that we can show you about HawkSearch and how it can transform your customers' journeys to checkout. If you'd like to know more information or schedule a demo, feel free to reach out at hello@hawksearch.com.
Fantastic. Jonathan, if I had your voice, I'd be doing this full time. That's great. Hey, we love working with you guys at HawkSearch. So thanks again for your support. I really appreciate it.
Likewise. Thanks for having us here.
You bet. So we also have a sponsorship from Mighty Rep, who's new to the stable of Distribution Strategy Group sponsors, but they did not have anyone available today. So I'm going to do a little read through for them. They're out of Bend, Oregon, and they're really pushing the limit on AI technology to help distributors drive more revenue from both new and existing customers. They say that some of their clients are seeing more than a 15% increase in revenue. And their research states that only 2% of distributor website visitors convert to leads. I think that may be optimistic. And it's a lot of missed opportunities, right? So you've got all these people going to the web and they're not buying. Mighty Reps technology captures these missed opportunities, scores them, and then identifies the right contacts that are interested in the products you sell. The result is that your reps have a qualified buyer to follow up with to close the deal. Mighty Reps AI technology can also analyze your existing customer base to identify upsell and cross-sell opportunities. It's the complete new solution to help your reps increase revenue by more than 15% by selling more for new and existing clients. So for our guests, for Distribution Strategy Group guests, Mighty Rep is offering a free 5-day trial. So please visit mightyrep.com/DSG. It's on the screen, mightyrep.com/DSG to sign up. Setting up a trial only takes 2 minutes and you will see qualified buyers right away. You really have nothing to lose. Again, just visit mightyrep.com/DSG. And even better, complete the free trial and Mighty Rep will send you a Patagonia fleece jacket, perfect for this cold weather. I'm an XL Mighty Rep. I'm going to do the free trial. So make sure you visit mightyrep.com/DSG to sign up for a free trial and get a Patagonia fleece jacket. The link is mightyrep.com/DSG. Don't miss it. Okay, so Eric Morside at Connexium, you are the last but not least sponsor for the day. How are you, my friend?
Thank you, Ian. I'm doing well today. My name is Eric Morside. I'm an account executive here at Connexium. What I'll share is the businesses and distribution companies that we're working with that are thriving today are those that have a laser focus on customer experience. How do you build and increase customer satisfaction? You don't have people in your business spending time doing manual tasks like order entry. Next slide, please. So with Connexium, what we do is we use a combination of template-driven and AI-generative maps. All of your customers who are sending emailed purchase orders, they don't have to change anything on their side. They just continue to send in those emailed POs that they always have. Connexium will take those orders and then automate them into your ERP system, whether it's Epicor, whether it's SAP, whether it's Oracle. We automate those orders into your system in a completely touchless fashion. Next slide, please. And ultimately, we deliver outcomes for right now 15 of the top 25 wholesale distribution companies in North America, where we're saving them millions of dollars in labor costs, error costs, and more importantly, increase in customer satisfaction for their customers. Thank you.
Look at this lineup. That's fantastic. Hey, Eric, thank you so much. I know you're at a sales kickoff, so I hope that goes well for you. Much success to you. And thanks again for supporting the program today.
Thank you.
You bet. All right. So, Jonathan, you're up, my friend. You ready to go?
Born ready.
Okay, so just remind everybody, please use the Q&A button to submit questions. Jonathan, I'll keep an eye on those, but we love to get audience interaction. So take it away, my friend.
Terrific. So, one interesting question is like what AI is and why it matters. And the next question is, why is some guy with gray hair telling us about what AI is and why it matters? Well, it actually turns out that AI has pretty deep roots. And the period of commercial AI corresponds to my professional career, which began in the mid-'80s. And the ideas about AI went back to the founders of computers, Alan Turing and John von Neumann. But I think we're at a point now where it's delivering real value. If we look at something like a Gartner hype cycle, which says, hey, technologies move up, they reach a peak of expectation, they fail, they get to a trough of disillusionment, and then they find their way back out. We've been through several of those cycles, and I don't think there's any question. I mean, it's already delivering value, so we're way past trough of disillusionment. One of the things that people think about is, first of all, there's often fear and excitement in when they consider AI, and the fear of AI is derived from scenarios like we had in 2001, where you had the evil Hal taking over things. There's all kinds of famous quotes from that, but the reality for us is not that. We're not about to see what's known as general purpose AI or AGI, a general intelligence, anytime soon. Different pundits think it's sooner. I really don't think we're going to see that anytime soon. The one thing that you're probably doing already, which you may not be aware of, is what I would call AI as a feature. So if you are on a Zoom call, there might be a transcription thing or a summary thing, or if you're using Otter, or if you're using the recommendation engine from Netflix in your consumer world. We experience AI as a feature where we're using some broader service, but there's a component of it where there's AI. All the things that we do that do voice recognition are AI as a feature. We're going to talk a lot about what I'm going to call task-specific AI. So these are things like what our sponsors mentioned. Eric mentioned the order entry, order automation piece. Jonathan mentioned the smart search. These are very task-specific functions of AI that our sponsors and other technology companies can help you with. And then finally, we've heard a lot about ChatGPT, Bard, and similar, where what's known as generative AI, where it's capable of interacting with natural language. And the root of the word generative is generate or to create. It's actually creating things. I think we've all heard about advanced analytics or ML that is interpreting or predicting. It's actually generating things. So that's able to solve an extraordinarily broad range of problems. We think about what the potential for AI is. This is, I believe it's from Gartner. They're basically saying, hey, those who are leading are going to see much bigger returns on AI, the so-called early movers. Followers will get a return on AI in their business. Late adopters may lose 23%. Without getting caught in the specific numbers here, directionally, what they're saying seems to be right, which is people that get on it now are going to get earlier returns, and they will be able to create some type of competitive advantage, whether it's efficiency or effectiveness or both. So keep this in mind as you think about it. It's really important to get going on this. When we step back and think about what is AI, well, a lot of it goes back to how humans learn. So if you're practicing your golf game or you're practicing shooting at a target, the examples that you see are you've just taken a shot or you've just swung the golf club, and you're making micro corrections along the way, right? You might be moving a little bit more. It might be just literally microns that you're moving where you're aiming the gun or how you're swinging the club. So we see examples, we learn patterns, and then we apply the patterns. And this is true in anything that we learn. It just turns out that AI sees many, many, many more examples. So it may need thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions or even billions of examples to learn. So, for example, we think about cross-selling. It might need to see a bunch of examples of where cross-selling worked. And that might literally be hundreds of thousands of examples before it can then make cross-selling recommendations. So it's all about learning the patterns and applying these patterns. What's different today versus the beginning of commercial AI, which was in the 1980s, is the compute power is literally 60 million times greater than it was in 1984. So that has enabled a whole new class of things. If we think about different problem types: language understanding, optimization, image recognition, and now it's known as generative AI. This compute power is fueling a whole new class of things. I'll talk about this as we go through it so you can see the difference between then and now. So the language understanding that we see in like a generative AI, but also other AI technologies to do language understanding, really falls into three categories. First is it is taking text of some kind, understanding of written text. Speech is a level beyond that, where it's interpreting a signal and then presumably creating some version of text, and then that is getting interpreted. And then there's a third aspect of language understanding known as translation. By the way, 20 years ago, people thought this was a completely unsolvable problem: language translation, machine translation. It's made huge progress over the last 5 to 10 years, and very practical applications of that. We were doing AI-based language understanding 40 years ago, but we didn't have the advantage of the computing power. We didn't have the advantage of learning. So that is really a big difference now, is that compute power is using learning to power the language understanding. And whether that's understanding the signal in speech or understanding the meaning of the text, that learning is playing a big role. Another area of AI which gets less attention but is very, very high value is what's known as optimization. And this AI technology has been around for a while, possibly in the form of operations research. You might have heard of linear programming back in the good old days of symbolic AI, which is before these days of numeric AI. We had heuristic or rule-based systems for optimization. Here's a couple of examples of optimization problems. So one is, you need to pack your trunk to go on a vacation, and you need to put 10 things into your trunk. Well, it turns out there are literally 3,600,000 ways of putting those 10 items in your trunk. Turns out that we have good guidelines or heuristics or rules of thumb. We're probably going to put in the biggest and bulkiest thing first. And we have things that make it so that we don't have to actually explore 3,628,800 possible ways to pack that trunk. Optimization plays out in distribution in a lot of ways. One could be putting stuff on a truck. Another could be the number of routes that somebody needs to go to. So for 10 locations, 3.6 million. Again, we have heuristics and ways of optimizing minimizing that distance of the 10 locations. Suffice it to say, there are plenty of optimization opportunities and solutions in the warehouse supply chain and last mile world. So we'll talk a little bit more about those. Image recognition is something that we experience a lot in the daily life. If you've flown recently, the TSA took a photo of you, and it turns out that we can do image recognition without learning. And part of what we need to do is figure out, if we look at this set of pixels on the left, what are the actual objects in here? Okay, so you and I can tell that there's a person here and that they've got something on their head. Actually, turns out to be headphones. Looks like there is a chair in the background. But this whole problem of what are the actual objects in the scene, which is obvious to you and to me and any human being, is not obvious to a computer looking at a set of pixels. Once again, 30, 40 years ago, when we were doing work to prepare for Mars rover and space station and whatnot, we could do this image recognition, we could pick out objects, but we weren't using learning. Now we're using that 60 million times more compute power to do learning. And when we go to the TSA, it's now got a couple hundred photos of me, hopefully some with darker hair. Maybe if I'm coming back from a vacation, I've got a nice tan, with a hat, without a hat, with glasses, without glasses, etc. But it's searching through probably billions of photos when it does that recognition. That's pretty amazing. And that's where that 60 million compute power comes in. The generative AI is the thing that we're all hearing about. We're in this age of Chat GPT, and no doubt many of you on the call have experimented with it at different levels. Some of the things it can do, summarization, it does really well. Classification, prediction, generation, extraction, question answering. It actually does all of the things that I've talked about so far, although it is arguably a different category of AI. It is not a general purpose intelligence, although it can appear to be or mimic as general purpose intelligence, but it's just amazing. Full disclosure here, I didn't think we'd have the capability of generative AI for 10 or 15 years. So if you've ever watched Shaquille O'Neal at the free throw line, that's what I was like with my prediction about generative AI. I was off by 10 or 15 years. It's really amazing, and it's only going to get better. One idea that's really big with Gen AI is what's known as multimodal. So text, image, voice, that's now available in things like Chat GPT-4. And that multimodal capability is powerful when you start to do generative things. You can ask it to create an image as well as to generate text, and it's really good at writing. Okay, I want to talk now about what we're seeing that you and your peers are doing with distribution AI. In future incarnations of state of distribution AI, this is the first one, we're going to be tracking specific technologies, where they are on the adoption curve. In this first one, we're really just looking to see what people are doing. Something's not quite working with the slide here, but what I'll say is that participating in AI events, identifying key projects, formulating strategy is the main thing that people are doing. And we can see that, the blue is they've applied significant effort, the red is they've applied some effort, the green is they've applied no effort. These are really the big three: identifying key projects, formulating strategy. The main focus in terms of where people think they're going to benefit from AI is getting competitive edge. Competitive edge could be lowering cost. That gives you competitive edge. And there's a number of aspects to lowering costs. Competitive edge could be getting better at what you do. We're giving better customer service. We've got better delivery. It's more on time. There's any number of ways that we could be better at what we do that form competitive edge. So more than half of the respondents feel that that's going to be where they get the main benefit. Related, using AI to keep up with competitors, there's about 9% who feel that they're going to be using it to keep up with competitors. So that's really a step down. We're going to be as good as the Joneses, but not better than the Joneses in that view. Some people think that it will be vital to the success of the business, even if it's not competitive edge, and then it may be useful in certain areas. Let's look at where the focus on importance and on adoption is by function of the business. So we're looking at things that are considered either very important or important, and the choices are shown here. The ones that are really trending now, at this moment and over the next 36 months, are what I would call the customer-facing applications of AI. So that's website and digital. We heard from Bridgeline and from Connexium on where that's going to play a role. The whole customer service thing, we'll talk more about that. Really, really big difference. And then also in sales. So there's been significant advances in those areas. If we look at
Jonathan, if I can jump in. So this is a survey of distribution executives, right?
Yes.
And so to the audience, this presentation will be archived, and there's a white paper coming out about it. So if you're feverishly taking notes, that's great. But we will, have this available within a couple of days, and then the white paper, which will have the previous slide corrected, will be available in a couple of weeks.
And there's more. Wait, you'll also get a copy of the recording. So,
that's right. You also get a copy of the recording, right?
Yeah. For your next party. In the technology area, the combination of AI and cybersecurity, I mean, these are more horizontal to the business. Cybersecurity is huge, and AI poses significant, really exponential new challenges in cybersecurity. And then the last broad area is in the supply management supply chain management arena. So these other areas are getting traction: purchasing, warehousing, merchandising, finance, HR, physical security. But what we're going to see on the next slide is where the adoption is. This also correlates with what's important. So the places where currently in regular use, that's that blue over here at the edge: sales, website, digital, marketing, cybersecurity, customer service, IT. Those are exactly the areas that were tagged as important. We'll see adoption in these other areas: merchandising, purchasing, finance, et cetera. Some within the next couple of years, and then some beyond that 2-year horizon. So the train is leaving the station in certain parts of your business, and great opportunities.
And it's a bullet train.
It's a bullet train, yes.
Yeah.
But maybe it's faster than a speeding bullet train. What I want to talk about now, I want to talk about selective use cases according to a customer journey. So we've talked extensively about the idea of shopping versus buying, where shopping is researching, evaluating, assessing. Buying is purchasing, ordering, transacting. We're going to look at a few use cases here. We're going to look at some interesting use cases in the fulfillment area, in invoicing and payment, and then finally in the support arena. Suffice it to say, we could have an entire session on any one of these parts of the journey. And in fact, at the conference, that's just what we're going to be doing. We're going to be going even deeper into these areas with general sessions at the AI conference in June. Broad overview: in the shopping and buying, voice search and ordering. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Item recognition, we've spoken about getting adoption. AI-based selling is just a huge area. And though these three things are here today, the contactless checkout allows customers to shop, buy, and check out without any human assistance. Little further out, but not end of the decade, order automation with Connexium here today, and it's going multimodal in the forms that it can take. Product selectors and configurators. So those are, again, just a few of the many things. If we can include the Hawk search stuff in here for intelligent search.
Well, and the Mighty Rep stuff for the AI-based selling. I mean,
Absolutely.
It's funny where I was looking at some marketing automation applications and some account-based marketing technology, and it's like, oh my gosh, you have to run 100 miles an hour to keep up with how this technology is advancing, which also means you need to run 100 miles an hour to stay ahead of your competitors. And understanding these available technologies and figuring out which ones to apply in your environment, that's a big part of the game these days.
100%. Yeah, you might have to run 100 miles an hour to stay even.
Yeah, right.
So I think many of us are familiar with the voice search and ordering, whether it's Alexa, Siri, whichever version of smartphone that you have. The Alexa stuff has really taken off on the consumer side. We've been predicting, and we believe it to be true, that the ordering side is going to take off in distribution. There are actually companies that are focused on voice search and ordering in distribution. Examples of things you might want to be able to do: show me the Roland FSC uncoated paper. So that's a particular product that you're looking for, or asking about the inventory, the number of items that you have on hand, or finding out what the lead time is and where it can be bought within your network of branches or locations. So there's some interesting other applications of the voice ordering. We've talked about the item recognition. Ian, you want to talk about this one?
Yeah, I mean, we've been playing with this for a while, right? So, in a paper I did a few years ago, I shot a picture of a vise and I sent it to Grainger and Amazon and Home Depot and some other places, and to see how well it matched it up. But, it did a pretty good job, but it's getting better. But that was just based on a photo match. You can imagine in this case, Alexa could actually be looking through order history to see which blades were bought, just to confirm the choice. And this guy could also say, while you're at it, send me a case, and they get delivered on an autonomous vehicle to where he is. he never has to stop working. And so this is really detaching human beings from a computer in the ordering process. And it takes enormous amounts of product data to do that. And it takes AI connected systems. And some of these places like Amazon Business are better suited for that today. And it's important that distributors close the gap. I don't think this is going to be, 10% of the business in the next few years, but I think it will be double-digit percentage in 10 years.
It's high value add for your customers.
Yeah, right.
I just had the plumbing guy in my house with, dealing with the water heater and being able to identify a part in a legacy now 30-year-old water heater.
Right.
That's not a simple one. I think part of what I like about the use case you pointed out, Ian, it is multimodal, right? It's using the image recognition, it's using voice, it's looking at intelligently in your history to make sure you've got the right thing. So putting these things together is powerful. Another aspect of AI-based selling, whether it's online or with a rep, is substitutes and similar items. What good sales reps, what good customer service reps do is they are able to recommend substitutes either within brand or beyond brand for certain products. And it's a huge value add. So AI can play that role, whether it's in an e-commerce setting or whether it's somebody talking to a rep. Another related one is the cross-sell, and this has been the holy grail in distribution for years. Figuring out what else goes with what you're selling, whether it's a direct part, accessory to a product that you have in the shopping cart, or whether it's just frequently bought with, as suggested here. We've seen terrific returns on companies that are deploying this technology. And when I say returns, I mean returns in 90 to 180 days. So by the time you've made a fourth or fifth payment to somebody in a subscription for this type of technology, people are getting powerful returns. A related matter, and one that in some cases could even be more value, is in an MRO or a flow type setting, predicting a reorder. So in this example, somebody could be ready to buy a disinfectant, either the Purell or this disinfectant over here, or the service paper that they need. And depending on your business, your particular distribution business, this might even generate more value for you than the pure cross-sell. Again, we've always thought that cross-selling is the holy grail, but I've definitely seen cases where when situations where when they're using these reorder analytics, they're actually outperforming the cross-sell. So, and then a final one is automated quote follow-up. Eric mentioned trying to get order entry out of the picture. It's a real issue, and there's some cases where distributors have thousands of quotes that haven't been followed up on, Ian.
Oh yeah, right. They just stack up, and they use. And quote responsiveness time matters.
Absolutely, yeah. Many of you know we're doing work in the customer experience arena. We had one customer that was the main focus for them, was getting quote response from 24 hours to same day where possible. So automated quote follow-up using AI is another powerful aspect of AI-based selling. I want to talk about, this one's a little bit further out. I mentioned the contactless checkout. Some of you may know of Amazon Go, and they've created a technology. I'll just show the video here briefly because I think you'll get it. Let's see. So I want to put the sound on. Yes. Okay.
4 years ago, we started to wonder, what would shopping look like if you could walk into a store, grab what you want, and just go? What if we could weave the most advanced machine learning, computer vision, and AI into the very fabric of a store so you never have to wait in line? No lines, no checkouts, no registers. Welcome to Amazon Go. Use the Amazon Go app to enter. Then put away your phone and start shopping. It's really that simple. Take whatever you like. Anything you pick up is automatically added to your virtual cart. If you change your mind about that cupcake, just put it back.
Okay, so as mentioned, this is a little bit further out, but it's not hugely far out, and the application of it is going to be huge. It's one more example where when this AI technology is applied, it's freeing up people to do higher level functions. So imagine a branch where you've got a core set of customers that stop by 3 to 4, maybe 5 times a week in that branch to buy stuff to on the way to their job. Saving them 5 to 7 minutes every day is a huge value to them. And as mentioned before, the personnel in the branch could be used or could be redeployed for higher level functions. So order automation. So we talked about Connexium at the beginning, and we've seen Connexium deployed in a number of cases. I think it's a very simple idea. You know, if you just think about the number of orders you get that come through email or perhaps text or some even more unstructured format, you could get things like this on the left side as the order that are non-specific. It doesn't, notice there aren't SKUs mentioned here or brands or suppliers. It's just, hey, I want PVC conduit couplings. And using AI to say, okay, we're going to pin that down to a specific SKU as the output. This ends up being a really massive time saver, particularly on something like this. I mean, this is what, 15 line items and 14 line items.
Jonathan, you're not sharing, bud.
Oh, okay. Sharing is caring, but I'm not doing that. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. So with the order entry,
You're not sharing still, bud.
really?
Mm-hmm. You kind of glitched for a second.
How about now?
Let's see. There we go.
Okay. Again, the stuff on the left is imprecise. It's not mentioning SKUs. The output on the right, which is what goes into the ERP, is specific. Connexium has generated huge amounts of value for companies with this at a cost of $8 to $12 per hour, $8 to $12 savings per order. So just figure out the number of orders you're getting by email or by fax. Multiply that by $8 to $12, and you'll have a sense of the value that you can get there. In the fulfillment arena, there's a number of applications that we can look at. We had a supplier lead time as one. We'll talk about that a little bit more detail. Inventory management. So there's things you can do with demand forecasting. There's things you can do with optimization to determine stocking levels, order time, or reorder points, safety stock levels. And then I'm going to show a little more detail on warehouse drones, which is for really efficiently and effectively maintaining accurate inventory. Route optimization, load optimization, and then autonomous vehicles. So let's dig into these. Supplier lead time is a huge problem. If you have too much stock, you're tying up working capital. If you don't have enough stock, you're going to reduce service levels and disappoint customers. This is literally one, sometimes you say kids don't try this at home. Well, this is what I actually do want you to try at home. I had a number of students. It was the second project they'd done in AI. I taught in the advanced analytics program at University of Colorado for 7 years. And we had a large distributor who wanted to get better lead times. And they wanted to use both the supplier estimate as input, as well as information about the supplier, about the product category, about the SKU, about geography, season date, and other things. And using AI and ML, machine learning techniques, we could reduce the error on lead time prediction by 30 to 60%. The main benefit of this was about a 7 to 9% reduction in working capital tied up in inventory, as well as better accuracy in meeting customer requirements. So definitely one that could be tried. Very, very high value if you can get a couple of new grads from one of these programs, or you have the skills in-house, something you could try at home. We've talked before about drones as well as autonomous vehicles. We believe that the drone technology is not yet close to being proven from an economic standpoint. Autonomous vehicles, but on the other hand, are very close to being deployed. FedEx is doing large rollouts. You see the photo here. There's a company called Neuro, which makes different size vehicles. You can put a wrap around the vehicle for your brand. So whether you're Domino's, FedEx, or Walmart, you can put a wrap around the vehicle. It's completely autonomous. The larger vehicles will carry larger payloads. You see here the capacity of these different autonomous vehicles varies. But the ones that, for example, Walmart are doing are fairly extensive and are actually now able to reach about 20 to 30 million people in this country. Okay. Wanted to show a little bit about warehouse drones because I think this is a really important application. So I'm gonna share properly this time. Let's see. So I'll share this. Okay.
So this drone's doing inventory counting, right? There's no audio, Jonathan.
It's very important because it supports our productivity, but it supports also the supply chains of our customers and the predictability of the deliveries. Counting stock and having the right stock levels is very important.
It's a full autonomous operation, and that's really the fantastic thing. Is that they know exactly to each centimeter where they're located to. So it's also that we don't have to read barcodes and the position of a rack, but of course the drone knows where it is, and then by scanning the barcodes or taking the picture, we can compare that with the information we have in our systems.
We've created a system that allows us to gather information anywhere.
Okay, so again, that is a really super powerful and high value application. They're touting 80% savings in human cost for doing the inventory counting and reconciliation. Suffice it to say, the drones are one of many examples of automation that have a robotic feel in the warehouse. We're not going to go into all of them now. We'll go into more detail at the conference in June. Other applications in the fulfillment space that are powerful, really related to the warehouse, is one is the warehouse design. It's lower frequency, but it's very, very, very high value. If you think about getting a warehouse optimally designed, and the availability of technology to support design with AI or conventional CAD, and now combining AI and conventional CAD, create very powerful opportunities to do better warehouse design. Slotting optimization, again, that optimization theme of putting products in the warehouse to minimize picking and put away times. Once again, you're getting efficiency through reduced labor. Picking and packing, once again, the routes, optimizing the routes, minimizing labor and time required for fulfillment. So, number of applications. I want to show another picking and packing application or video. So this is it's a company that has robotic palletizing and So once again, you look at the number of picks per hour that it was showing there, and very, very powerful in terms of creating efficiency within the warehouse.
Hey, Jonathan, can you reshare with the sound off? That's why you're getting that gray box.
Was it not showing the video?
No, it showed the video, but now you've got a gray box at the top of your slide. So if you stop sharing and then share with sound off, it should go away.
How about now?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, thanks. On the invoicing and payment, huge opportunity here. There's been a really proliferation of companies that do automated AR collection and that mechanize and automate that. The big challenges are that there's still a lot of paper, and there's a material cost to process an invoice. There's also a material time to process an invoice. The net result of the invoicing issue is that there's errors, there's clock delay, there's lower productivity. And what's emerging is that there are automated AR using AI techniques that create significant reductions in overall invoice processing costs. The main benefit is automated reconciliation, where somebody's trying to match up an invoice with something in the ERP. That benefit for a $100 million company might be the equivalent of 2 full-time equivalents. So a lot of times people talk about, well, you're going to reduce the days sales outstanding. And that's a nice benefit. If you go from 34 to 32 or 31 days, that's great. But often the bigger benefit in this automated AR is the automated reconciliation. So these technologies are in production today, and I think the adoption is growing quite rapidly. The support applications is another area that I think is huge, and the arrival of generative AI has changed the landscape on support applications. We've all experienced the opposite of an intelligent chatbot, a warm body person, or maybe lukewarm body person doing chat for us. But I think we're at a point now where these intelligent chatbots can handle extraordinary range of things, whether it's returns, questions about products, generating quotations, generating solutions, etc. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. Sentiment analysis is another thing used in support arena to understand, given either text or speech, what was the emotional tone of what somebody was saying? Was it a happy customer? Was it a positive tone? Was it at the other end of the spectrum, or was it just neutral? And then we've talked about the automated transcription as AI as a feature thing. So when we think about customer support, there's a range of things that these large language models that's what really underlies the generative AI. They could assist a customer, they could address an inquiry, they could resolve issues. And then these last two are really significant: finding the right product and selling solutions. I had believed that in the shopping arena, there were some very simple use cases for technology. So reordering something online is a really easy use case. Ordering a product in a category that I've already bought. I haven't bought this particular item, but I bought in this category. That's a really easy thing. Finding the right product, selling a solution, has until recently been the sole province of a person, whether it's a field sales rep or a customer service rep. Finding the right product or the right category and selling a solution have been in the realm of people. I really believe that what Amazon has outlined here as their big, hairy, audacious goal is something that we can achieve, and we don't have to be Amazon to do this. I think there's the technologies that Amazon's using are now available to us or at least for the most part, those technologies are available to us. So what they want to create is the world's most knowledgeable product expert who knows you, who has knowledge of every product ever made, always on, in a store that sells everything. So if we break this down, product expert, what that means is training the chat GPTs or the intelligent chatbots on the products that you carry. So you carry 50,000 SKUs. It needs to somehow come up to speed on that set of SKUs. Who knows you? That means that it's looked at the set of transactions. So it's got access to not just your PIM, but also your ERP, and probably your CRM. And then that superhuman knowledge of every product ever made is a little bit like a restatement of the first thing. So the technologies that are available today, whether it's ChatGPT or specific things that are focused on helping you create better support, are very real. As we know, there has been an explosion of the number and the capability of these chatbots, including OpenAI, ChatGPT, Google's got Bard, Meta has got Llama. We really see a heavy adoption of this consultative sales expertise over the next 4 to 5 years. I want to talk just briefly about this. We're a little bit short on time, but this technique of sentiment analysis is determining what was the emotional tone of a communication. So there are now techniques for listening to a conversation between a CSR and a customer. And in addition to the transcription of that dialogue and perhaps putting it in your CRM, now able to say what was the discussion about and what was the tone of the conversation. Is it a very happy face? Is it a regular happy face, neutral, sad face, very sad face? What are the topics that are being dealt with here? All of that is available now in some of the new AI technologies. Talk just briefly about how to get going, because I think that's a really key thing. If we go back to where I started, hopefully you see that the general purpose intelligence is not going to destroy the world anytime soon, because the general purpose intelligence is not close. So the real question is, how do you work with vendors, including the sponsors of this webcast, and what do you do on your own? So I want to talk about some simple ideas of what you can do on your own. There are many more. It is by no means exhaustive. It's easy to get going creating product content. If you've got a website, you've got 10% of your SKUs that form 90% of your revenue. Part of your job in this world of standing out to the search engines is not looking like everybody else that has the same product content from your association or buying group. So using Gen AI to create better product information, product content. Similar idea for job descriptions. It's very easy to create job descriptions. Related, creating PR, writing PR notices to the world. Creating sales letters, proposals, content, very easy low-hanging fruit. These things write very well, and you can do the prompt engineering to get them where you want. In this whole picture of what is AI going to do, personal opinion, I know Ian is on a slightly different page. I think your warehouse is going to look super different in about 5 or 6 years. I think it's going to have a fraction of the number of human live people in the warehouse in 5 or 6 years. I would really take a look at where the warehouse automation technology that is AI powered is going, and create a roadmap around that. You can and should rely on your tech vendors for task-specific AI. You might be part of an association or a group that has vendors that are really catering to your specific industry within distribution. Perhaps there's a way to combine the voices and push your tech vendors for specific task AI types of things. And then the last piece is what you can do internally that's not coming from your vendors. as I mentioned, I taught at the business analytics program at University of Colorado, and I watched what these master's students could do, and it's just mind blowing. I mean, in a year of hard work, the things they're able to do for companies they go to work for. So one thing that was happening even before ChatGPT hit the scene was people were forming advanced analytics groups using various types of ML, various exotic types of regression and extreme graded boosted regression and random forest and all these different types of models. So you could start with a couple of people in an AI analytics group, and they are there to serve the rest of the company. My prediction is that they will have more things than they could possibly do. The stack of requests for what they can do is huge. We already talked about the one with the better lead forecasting. Here's just the beginning of a list of things that they could start to do. They could do better demand forecasting. They could do things with better price optimization. There's all kinds of things that can be done with AI-based clustering to do segmentation and personalization. You could try to figure out whether a customer is going to churn or whether they're going to buy less of a certain category. You could build your own product recommendation algorithm. You could start to use it for resource allocation and workforce optimization, getting better for the busy part of your day and reducing costs. You could look at things like creditworthiness of your customers in a credit risk assessment. If you were to put together one of these internal groups, starting with, let's say, 2 people that have gone through one of these programs, and maybe more if you're larger, you will have way more requests for that group than they can possibly handle, and you'll start to get a handle on where you can go with AI. So I think I'll just say one final thing. The day is short, the work is long, the wage is great, and the master is impatient. I think it's really super important to get going on AI in your organization. Ian, back to you.
Yeah, if you'd hang on for one more minute, tell you about a couple of upcoming programs from Distribution Strategy Group. On January 31st, we're doing Pricing Precision, Maximizing Profit Margins. It's a distribution leader discussion panel. We've got Scott Sinning, who used to be the VP of Pricing at Graybar before spinning off and starting his own company where he provides advice for other distributors. And Brian Hopkins, who's been a senior executive at HD Supply. He was with me at Grainger many years ago. He was at Hisco and Ready Carpet and AZP. I mean, he really knows his stuff. A brilliant guy. He was really good at operationalizing all of the things that you have to do to get the potential margin increases you can, hypothetically get from software, but you need to implement with good software and best practices. Then on February 7th, we're doing Understanding the New Wave of E-commerce Technology. This is a technology leader panel. So we'll have representatives from Luminos Labs and ECI Evolution X. We already know our Luminos contact. It's Jacoby Zakruski. We don't have one from ECI yet, but we will. These tend to fill up quickly with additional executives, and they're really great ways to hear what people who have done it before, whether at a distributor or at a software company, can offer you in terms of how you can do it better yourself. You can reach me at iheller@distributionstrategy.com and Jonathan at jbein, that's JBEIN, at distributionstrategy.com. Jonathan, well done, my friend. As always, it's been a pleasure working with you.
Thanks, Ian. Can't wait till the next one.
All right, everyone. Thanks a lot. We'll see you soon on another Distribution Strategy Group event. Bye now.